माता की, भारत माता की। साथियों, 4 जून को अब 1 महीना भी नहीं बचा है। आज तीसरे चरण की वोटिंग चल रही है। पहले चरण में विपक्ष पस्त पड़ गया था। दूसरे चरण में विपक्ष ध्वस्त हो गया था। आज तीसरे चरण के बाद जो इधर उधर कुछ छोटे छोटे टमटमते तारे दिखाते हैं, तारले दिखते हैं, वो भी अब अस्त होना तय हो जाएगा। क्योंकि पूरे देश ने ठान लिया है। फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार। साथियों, यहां से महू ज्यादा दूर नहीं है। महू में ही बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर का जन्म हुआ था। ये भूमि मेरे जैसे कितने ही लोगों के लिए किसी तीर्थ स्थली से कम नहीं है। और मैं तो अगर स्वार्थ की भाषा में बोलूं, मुझे बोलना नहीं चाहिए, लेकिन अगर स्वार्थ की भाषा में बोलूं तो मैं कहूंगा, बाबा साहब का संविधान न होता तो मोदी इस जगह पे नहीं होता। ये बाबा साहब का संविधान है जिसके कारण आप सब मुझे यहां तक पहुंचा पाए। नहीं तो आज भी एक ही परिवार का राज चल रहा होता। नामदार ही नामदार होते, कामदार का तो हिसाब ही नहीं होता। लेकिन ये बाबा साहब के संविधान की ताकत है कि नामदार को हटा के देश ने कामदार को बिठा दिया। और यही वजह है कि कांग्रेस बाबा साहब से नफरत करती है। इसी नफरत में अब कांग्रेस ने एक और चाल चली है। कांग्रेस चाहती है कि संविधान बनाने का श्रेय बाबा साहब को ना मिले। इसलिए अब कांग्रेस ने कहना शुरू कर दिया है कि बाबा साहब का योगदान तो बहुत कम था। ये संविधान बनाने में सबसे ज्यादा भूमिका, सबसे बड़ी भूमिका ये उनके चाचा देश के पंडित नेहरू जी की थी। क्या ये बात आपके गले उतरती है क्या? मुझे बताइए, हिंदुस्तान का बच्चा बच्चा भी आज जानता है न कि भारत के संविधान बनाने में सबसे बड़ा योगदान बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर का था कि नहीं था? था कि नहीं था? लेकिन इन परिवारवादियों ने पहले देश का इतिहास तोड़ा मरोड़ा, आजादी के महान सपूतों को भुलवा दिया और परिवारवादियों ने अपना महिमा मंडन करने के लिए, अपने ही गीत गाने के लिए, अपने ही वाहवाही करने के लिए झूठा इतिहास लिखा। और अब ये संविधान को लेकर भी झूठ गढ़ने लगे हैं और उसको भी कब्जा करने के मिजाज में है। सच तो ये है कि कांग्रेस का ये परिवार बाबा साहब आंबेडकर को घोर नफरत करता है। कांग्रेस ने आंबेडकर जी की राजनीति को खत्म करने की हर साजिश रची। मैं इसे भाजपा का और भाजपा सरकार का सौभाग्य मानता हूं कि भाजपा के समर्थन वाली केंद्र सरकार ने कुछ वर्ष पहले बाबा साहब को भारत रत्न दिया था। ये जब गए ना तब मौका आया। मैं इसे भी अपना सौभाग्य मानता हूं कि मुझे बाबा साहब से जुड़े स्थानों को पंच तीर्थ के रूप में विकसित करने का अवसर मिला। साथियों, हार की हताशा में आजकल कांग्रेस और इंडी गठबंधन के लोग एक नई अफवाह उड़ा रहे हैं। ये कहते हैं कि मोदी को 400 सीटें मिल गई तो वो संविधान बदल देगा। ऐसा झूठ चलाते हैं ना। ऐसा लगता है जैसे कांग्रेस वालों की बुद्धि पर वोट बैंक का ताला पड़ गया है। वोट बैंक का ताला पड़ गया है। अब इनको मैं बुद्धिमानी कहूं या न कहूं, ये भी मेरे लिए सवाल है। अरे इनको पता होना चाहिए 2019 से 2024 ये जो 5 साल मैंने सरकार चलाई ना, और 2019 में जो आपने वोट दिया था, 2019 से 2024
All right, yet another targeted attack by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the Congress. He's this time around speaking about the Constitution. He is speaking and about Baba Sahib Ambedkar, and it was under the BJP regime that Baba Sahib Ambedkar was felicitated posthumously with a Bharat Ratna. I'm going to start my conversation, and joining me on the telecast is Professor Madhav Nalapad. Then quickly understanding over the jibes that have been taken by the Congress time and again against Modi, against the BJP government, where they attacked and accused the BJP of completely changing the constitution, to which the BJP has time and again. And right now the Prime Minister talking about Nehru up until Rajiv, transforming, changing, amending the constitution. 80% of the amendments within the constitution have been done by the Congress governments.
Well, Megha, I'd like to say that changing the constitution is not an easy matter. You need to have significant control over the state, and you need to have a significant majority in parliament. So if at all changes are made in the constitution, these changes will need a huge amount of public support. And the point is that I don't believe there is any such grand plan to completely change the constitution. The fact is that the Congress party is now resorting to some stray comment made by one of the tens of millions of BJP Karyakartas and say, oh, this is the view of the BJP. When actually that's not at all the case. The BJP leadership is very clear. It is composed of the Prime Minister and a handful of his colleagues. And they are the only ones who can decide whether to do something or not. And the Prime Minister has made it very, very clear in this particular speech, as in the past, that there is absolutely no intention of fundamentally altering the Constitution. Why? For the simple reason that the Constitution, as he pointed out, has served the country well. An individual from a very humble background has become the Prime Minister of the country. So, from various points of view, this is again one of the canards that are being leveled by the opposition. And the reality is, let's be honest, the Congress leadership would like to have a fourth member of the ruling branch of the Gandhi family, that is the Sonia Gandhi branch, not the Maneka Gandhi branch, as the Prime Minister. You had Jawaharlal Nehru, you had Indira Gandhi, you had Rajiv Gandhi, and now they want Rahul Gandhi. That is absolutely transparent. And the hope is that the Congress will get enough seats, a significant number, above a three-figure number, to ensure that they can lead a coalition in the off chance that that coalition could do an upset and 2004 can get repeated in 2024.
Okay. All right. S.K. Datta, let's hear it from you as well. When a narrative that is being set by the opposition and particularly the Congress, when they speak about caste census, when they speak about jitni abadi utna haq, when they speak about wealth distribution, when they speak about inheritance tax, there is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has picked up the issue of Baba Saheb Ambedkar and attacked Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, talking about how there was a plot that was concocted by the Congress under Nehru to sideline the politics of Baba Saheb Ambedkar.
Well, Megha, first and foremost, I think it is a historical truth that Constitution has been amended maximum number of times by the Congress Party. And Congress Party since the time of Pandit Nehru, Indira Gandhi, the Rajiv Gandhi, they have amended the Constitution maximum number of times. Second is like the accusation of the Congress Party that if BJP gets 400 plus seats, then BJP would be amending the Constitution. First and foremost, it is an indirect acceptance by the Congress Party that BJP would be getting somewhere around 400 seats. That's one. It's an indirect acknowledgement. The second thing is like, it is not the Bharatiya Janata Party or the Prime Minister who is speaking about amendment of the Constitution. Rather, it's the Congress Party. And Congress Party is getting badly exposed on this. Why? There are reasons, and let me put it point-wise. First and foremost, they are talking about caste census. Now, based on caste census, if a new dimension comes, a new picture comes into evidence about the percentage of caste. Now, the distribution of wealth and other economic resources, that's what Rahul Gandhi is saying, that would be done on the basis of caste. Now, for that to be implemented, you need an amendment to the Constitution. That's one. The second thing is like when you are talking about, wealth distribution, when you are talking about a survey based on wealth distribution and then implementing that, that also needs an amendment in the Constitution because you just can't do it without with a simple legislation. Third and foremost is like Congress is talking about religious reservation being given to the Muslim community, and they would raise the cap above 50%. Now, for raising the cap above 50% and to include in the Muslim community in that also needs a constitutional amendment because there is a cap by the Supreme Court that has to be thrown away, like the way they had done in the case of Shahbani. So for that also a special amendment has to be brought into the parliament and that has to be passed. So it's rather the Congress Party which is speaking about constitutional amendments, and Congress would be doing this because it is there in their DNA. They have done this in the past and they would do it again
you made your point, sir. Akhil Khan, so why does the Congress have an issue if an amendment has been made to allow for the abrogation of Article 370?
There is no problem. There is no problem. Congress is. I don't think Congress is telling anything adversely against the 370. But the most important aspect is what are the issues of our countries. Your BJP has done nothing. Has done nothing for the 10 years. You see, recently survey says clearly. It says that more than 27% people of India wants to know about the unemployment. issues, and what are the this mehengai, and then what is the development.
But the opposition and in
You
India Alliance and Congress particularly have targeted the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi that listen, because you have a majority government, you have the leeway of changing and amending the constitution.
Certainly,
and therefore,
you see.
That's exactly my point, that what is wrong in amending and bringing about abrogation of Article 370?
No problem, no
Yeah.
problem. Amending, this is within the constitution itself. Because this is according to our constitution, this amendment is being carried out over the years for the benefit of the people, for the development of the country, not for their own personal interest, and then to put the country under some dictatorship. That's what BJP want to do now. They want 400 plus. Why? Because they want to amend the constitution. They will put Tanashahi at the forefront, like some other dictator countries. You see, Congress has done, and whatever has been doing, they are in the interest of the people of this country, not in the interest of their own people. You see,
When the emergency
so many
was
things,
imposed,
Mr.
when the
Modi is
emergency
telling.
was imposed by Indira Gandhi, the constitution being amended, was this in the interest of the people? I have with me Pramod Swami, BJP spokesperson. Yes, Pramod Swami, again, you know, two things that the Prime Minister has spoken about. One is about a Dalit leader, a statesman, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, not being appreciated, given his due under the Congress era, versus the constitution of the country that has been allegedly completely molded and broken apart under the Congress era.
देखिए, ऐसा है, पहली बात, बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर जी को हराने का प्रयास नेहरू जी ने किया था, ये सब जानते हैं। दूसरी बात, जो आज संविधान बदलने की बात करते हैं, उन्होंने 1975 में आपातकाल लगा के, इमरजेंसी लगा करके लोकतंत्र का गला घोटा था। उनके मुंह से संविधान बदलने की बात शोभा नहीं देती। तीसरी बात, सेकुलरिज्म जो शब्द था वो हमारे संविधान में नहीं था, उसको अमेंडमेंट कर करके कांग्रेस पार्टी ही लेकर के आई। चौथी बात यह है कि जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने शाहबानो केस में जब अपना निर्णय सुनाया था, तो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने तुष्टीकरण की नीति के तहत सुप्रीम कोर्ट के निर्णय तक को भी बदल दिया। जो पार्टी छद्म धर्मनिरपेक्षता, सीडो सेकुलरिज्म में जो पार्टी विश्वास करती है, जो पार्टी राम के अस्तित्व पर प्रश्न उठाती है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हलफनामा देती है, एफिडेविट देती है, उस पार्टी को संविधान के विषय में कहने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है। दूसरी बात, ये देश की जनता तय करती है कि किस पार्टी को देश की जनता कितनी सीटें देंगी, ये हम तय नहीं करते। अगर देश की जनता भारतीय जनता पार्टी और अलायंस को अगर 400 से ज्यादा सीटें देने का मन बना चुकी है, तो इसकी क्या वजह है, इसके ऊपर में ऑपोजिशन को चिंतन करना चाहिए। मेरे ख्याल से पहली वजह है कि ऑपोजिशन के पास में कोई प्राइम मिनिस्टर का कैंडिडेट नहीं है, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी एनडीए अलायंस ने देश की जनता के सामने मोदी जी के चेहरे को रखा।
बट प्रमोद स्वामी जी, यही तो कंटेंशन बोल रहा है, इंडिया अलायंस बोल रहा है कि इट डजंट मैटर, ये कोई मायने नहीं रखता कि कोई एक प्राइम मिनिस्टीरियल फेस हो। ये एक यूनाइटेड फ्रंट बनाया गया है जो कि बीजेपी सरकार को बाहर निकालने की एक नीति है, और इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है अगर कोई प्राइम मिनिस्टीरियल फेस हो या नहीं हो? बिकॉज कांग्रेस का यहाँ पे कहना है कि दिस इज नॉट अ प्रेसिडेंशियल स्टाइल इलेक्शन एज इट हैपेंस इन द यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका, दिस इज द पार्लियामेंट्री स्टाइल ऑफ इलेक्शन, एंड व्हाई इज देयर अ नीड? ये क्यों जरूरत है कि एक ऑपोजिशन का जो दल बना है, एक अलायंस बना है, उनको एक प्राइम मिनिस्टीरियल फेस होना ही होना चाहिए?
बिल्कुल, आपने जो कहा कि हमारे यहाँ संसदीय व्यवस्था है, प्रेसिडेंटशिप सिस्टम हमारे यहाँ नहीं है, मैं आपकी बात से सहमत हूँ। लेकिन ऑपोजिशन के नेता के बयान देखिए, वो कहते हैं कि हर साल एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर हम बदलना चाहेंगे और केंद्र में एक कमजोर प्रधानमंत्री चाहिए। क्या एक कमजोर प्रधानमंत्री, आज की जो विश्व की जो स्थिति है, उस स्थिति में भारत का नेतृत्व एक कमजोर प्रधानमंत्री को करना चाहिए? आज जिस तरह से आज बॉर्डर स्टेट में जिस तरह से समस्या है, एक तरफ चाइना और एक तरफ पाकिस्तान, टू फ्रंट वार की हम लोग तैयारी कर रहे हैं। और ये बात मैं नहीं, हमारे जो पूर्व जो सेना के अध्यक्ष थे, उन्होंने भी कहा था कि हमें 2 पॉइंट हाफ फ्रंट पे हमें युद्ध की तैयारी करनी चाहिए। तो उसके लिए एक सशक्त नेतृत्व की, एक एबल एंड कैपेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर की जरूरत है।
Okay,
और वो एबल एंड
okay, all right. You made your point, Pramod ji. Akil Khan wants to make a point quickly, Akil, before I move on to another targeted attack made by the Prime Minister against the Congress.
I have been into the politics for many years. I have never heard anybody is undermining the importance of Baba Sahab Ambedkar in making the constitution. Nobody. I don't know from where our Prime Minister brings out all these things that Nehru was being propagated as the originator of the constitution. This our constitution.
No, but what the BJP is alleging here is that
BJP
that it was under the BJP rule that the Bharat Ratna was posthumously awarded to Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Why did it take 75 years for this to happen?
Objective issues they are forgetting. BJP is not doing any objective issues, which is the burning issues of our country. Only they are making subjective issues. This man has done this, I have done this for this. But what you have done for the country, my friend Modi ji, you tell me what is your performance of the last 10 years. You are just diverting from the important burning issues of our country to these individuals, personalized things. This is not the country which is supporting you on this basis. Country has brought you after this India against corruption, for which I was also the part in 2011. You have come because of Arvind Kejriwal of India against corruption, and you are just putting all kind of corruptions on the head of the country. You see, you have not done anything good for the country. That's why you are not have anything to say about your performance. You are just creating misinformation campaign. That's all.
All right. Pramod Swami, yes. 30 seconds before I go to SK Datta. Yes.
मेगा जी, ये जो बात कर रहे हैं भ्रष्टाचार की, एक समय राजीव गांधी ने कहा था कि मैं 1 रुपया भेजता हूं और मात्र 15 पैसा जनता के पास
So you will also do?
और मोदी जी मेरी बात सुन लीजिए, मैं आपके बीच में नहीं बोला, आप मेरे बाद में आप उत्तर दीजिएगा।
लेकिन आपने
उसको भ्रष्टाचार को रोकने के लिए आपने कुछ नहीं किया। मोदी जी डीबीटी लेकर का है और आज हम 1 रुपया भेजते हैं और 1 रुपया जनता के पास पहुंचता है। आपने बेरोजगारी की बात की, ईपीएफओ
सर 16 लाख करोड़ आपने क्रोनिक कैपिटल्स को दे दिए, ये भ्रष्टाचार नहीं है।
अरे आप
16 लाख करोड़,
सुन लीजिए, 1 मिनट सुन लीजिए। अरे आप सुन लीजिए, 1 मिनट बात सुनिए।
205 लाख करोड़ का आपका जो है पूरे देश के अंदर लोन हो गया, इंटरनेशनल लोन, ये भ्रष्टाचार नहीं है।
Aspersions at this point of time being cast with regards to the alleged crony capitalism, and mind you, the likes of Ambani and Adani have gone to the states which are ruled by the Congress, mind you, where deals have been cut and plants and industries of the Adanis and the Ambanis are also being in the stages of development. SK Datta, coming to you now. I will again keep my focus to what the Prime Minister said, particularly with regards to the Constitution, and that's the very basis on which the Congress has been targeting the BJP.
I'm concluding. Please give me one.
So 30 seconds, yes.
Megha, can I come in, please?
Let me give him 30 seconds. He's wanting to make a point. He has been asking me to give him space.
ईपीएफओ का आंकड़ा आप देख लीजिए। ईपीएफओ के आंकड़े के तहत हर महीने 12 लाख जॉब जो है वो मोदी जी ने दी है, और 12 इंटू अगर 12 करे तो एक साल में 1 करोड़ 44 लाख जॉब हमने क्रिएट किए हैं। 26 लाख लोगों को हमने गरीबी रेखा से, 26 करोड़ लोगों को हम गरीबी रेखा से ऊपर लेकर के आए हैं।
That's true. Again, those are the figures. Those are the figures. Per capita income.
Before BJP came to power, there were 27 crore people were put below above the poverty line. 27 crore. And what you have done, you have brought to 25 crore now, 2 crore more.
Let's not completely sideline the issue by giving statistics which are differing, which is not actually the case. There has been the per capita income of an individual that has increased. The per capita expenditure capacity of an individual in our country has increased, and those are international figures. Let's not refute them. Also, okay, SK Datta, you want to make a point?
Well, I was listening to a couple of accusations by Mr. Akil Khan. Let me come point-wise and let me give a rejoinder to that, what he has said. giving Bharat Ratna to Swaminathan or to Babasaheb Ambedkar or Abdul Kalamji or anyone else, these are not subjective issues. These are objective issues. They should have been done long time back. If Congress hasn't done it, Congress has committed a sin by not doing it. If Modi ji has done this, he should be applauded for it. Second thing is, like, in terms of the economic indicators, let me come with the data from the international agencies only. World Bank, 3 days back, has said that India would be the fourth largest economic power of the whole world by 2025. This I'm not saying this, the Prime Minister is not saying this, is the World Bank which is saying it. Second is, like, the United Nations has said that the Jan Dhan account is a unique case study which needs to be done with thorough research, and it's a unique case study and it needs to be applauded because no other country has been able to achieve this kind of a remarkable achievement like the way India has done it. United Nations says this. The OPEC says that the per capita income and the Asian Development, just give me 5 seconds more, please, Megha. The Asian Development Bank and the OSAID has said that in the last 10 years, the per capita income of India, of individuals, has increased by almost around 275%.
Yeah. The point that I was making. The point that I was making.
Before 2014.
Right. Right,
So
absolutely.
this is something which is
I'll come back to the subject.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.